I'd like to welcome all of you. And apologies again for the technology glitches. First of all, I wanted to tell you how our two positive peace facilitators got connected. This happened in 2024 when Patricia Garcia and Reverend Dr. Mart Kandemo were introduced by me in Sydney. Mart was a Congolese vocational scholar, came to Australia under the auspices of the Royce and Jean Abbey Vocational Scholarship. We were thrilled to have her with us in New South Wales for 3 months. And part of her mission and being in Australia was to learn about all kinds of initiatives that she might be able to take back to Congo and facilitate some new ideas in the Congo context. One of those was in peace building. And so it was with great pleasure that I introduced her to Patricia Garcia and the Institute of Economics and Peace. I'd like to thank Institute for Economics and Peace for hosting the webinar and for sending Patricia to the Democratic Republic of Congo last April in order to lead this positive peace training. A special thank you as well to all of the individuals and Rotary clubs and networks that helped fund this peace training, which we're going to hear more about. The virtual meetup is moderated this evening by someone who was born in Africa himself, Australia's first ambassador to the Democratic Republic of Congo, Matthew Newhouse. But first, here is Bridget Marks from the Rotary Club of Maroubra.
Good evening, everyone. I would like to begin by acknowledging the traditional owners of the land on which I stand tonight, the Birabiragal people. And because we are all in various locations all over the world, I would like to acknowledge the traditional custodians of the land all over the world and pay my respects to elders past and present. Thank you, Lucy. You're on mute.
Ambassador Newhouse is with us, but unfortunately we can't see his very handsome face. He's with us on WhatsApp and will be moderating this as best he can via WhatsApp. So this is just a little bit of the challenges that our colleagues and friends in the Democratic Republic of Congo have with technology and connectivity. So we're getting a taste of the frustrations and challenges that they face on a daily basis. Ambassador Newhouse.
Can you hear me?
Yes.
Yes.
And can everyone else hear me too, Lucy?
I'm getting nods, yes.
Yes.
Oh, well, very good, everybody. I'm sorry for whatever technical reason I don't seem to be able to come through online, but I'm glad you can hear me, and I'm delighted to be with you all tonight on this very important webinar. As Lucy has mentioned, and she's just done so many wonderful things in the Congo, I was Australia's first ambassador to the Congo, based out of Harare, back in 2011 to 2015, and I continue to have a deep interest in what's happening there. I have served quite a lot in Africa during my career, and after that particular posting was an Assistant Secretary for Africa and in DFAT, and then later went on to another ambassadorship. I'm now retired and I'm an honorary professor at ANU. And in that role as an honorary professor in national law, I'm very interested and involved in UN peace building efforts. So that makes this particularly relevant webinar to have, and I want to commend the work that the IEP does and that of Patricia Garcia herself, who is a great peace builder and well known internationally. And I'm delighted that she's been out there very recently in the Congo with the Reverend Dr. Martha Kandema, facilitating 3 days of interactive positive peace training based on a highly successful model developed by the Institute of Economics and Peace. This training was held in Kinshasa, the capital of the DRC, with 30 women leaders from communities all over the DRC. Marta, who I have met, is a very impressive
Lucy, I can't hear Matthew anymore.
Mute,
Bridget, you're on mute. You need to mute. Sorry, Matthew, go ahead.
You can still hear me. Good. So we're turning shortly, I hope, to Marta, even though I can't see whether Marta's online. Then we will be hearing from Patricia a bit about her recent work out there. Is Marta there?
Yes, I've got Martha also on WhatsApp. And maybe Martha, if I could just speak now to everyone. Unfortunately, we've had the difficulty of not being able to see Martha, but she is here joining me on WhatsApp. Martha, would you like to just please introduce yourself here?
Okay. My name is Martha Maleke Kondemo. I'm the General Secretary for Women, Family and Children of the Church of Christ in Congo.
So, Marta, we would like you to tell us a little bit about the relevance of the training in the DRC, and tell us a little bit about the conflict history and current situation that you have been facing. Of course, I'm very aware of the situation in recent years and having visited most parts of the Congo. And of course, we're very aware that the situation in the Eastern Congo continues to still be quite tense. So how is your training making a difference there?
Yeah, the situation, if I can say, from the DRC now, there's no change in the life of people. The political situation is still the same. Goma and Bukavu are still captured in the end of M23 and Nanga. So the life of people is still difficult. People are violated. There is a scarcity of money. There is no bank because all banks have been closed since last year. So moving around is a challenge because of security. And even when we had to fly women here, we had to use international flight because they have to go through Rwanda, Kenya or Ethiopia to reach Kinshasa. So there's nothing in the changing of the situation. Our government is not really helping. Women are still being raped. Children are taken to be enrolled in army. The insecurity system is still the same. So this peace training is really helpful for us because it brings women to understand.
Yes, Martha, you were just telling us how helpful the training was. Are you still with us? I'm wondering if Martha's link has just broken down.
Yes, I think we've had a bit of a break. Unfortunately, this happens sometimes when we're in communication over there.
Yes.
I just hope she'll be able to get back on. So I think Matthew, we'll try again, but I think we'll just continue.
Yes, well, we'll continue now and move to Patricia. And Patricia, I understand that you have worked in several African countries, but this was your first visit to the DRC in Kinshasa, which is an exceptional place in its own way. But tell us a little bit more about your background and then how the situation in Kinshasa impacted on you.
Thank you, Matthew. Bonjour, bonsoir, mesdames et messieurs. And for those of us who have spent the time in Congo, it was an absolute wonderful opportunity for me to be able to go to Kinshasa for the first time. I have had experience in the past of having traveled to Goma during the time of the genocide in Rwanda, where more than 800,000 Rwandan refugees fled to Goma. And during that time, I was involved with supporting the UNHCR operations in Goma. But it was my first time in Kinshasa, and I guess for me, I have had a wonderful experience. I'm wearing, for the women from Congo who might know, I'm wearing a beautiful Congolese dress, particularly because of the wonderful hospitality I received from the Congolese women in Kinshasa, particularly the 30 women leaders who I was involved with in training. And just like to say that I'm working in the Institute for Economics and Peace, and as the Partnerships Development Manager, I'm involved in delivering education programs and workshops to build capacity for women, youth, and leaders, and to lead on peace and sustainable development. And I've been doing this training in different countries, including in Cambodia, in Ethiopia, South Sudan. And I thought having met Martha in 2024 when she was visiting Sydney, we struck a wonderful conversation and discussion to try to see if we could also be able to undertake a similar peace training with the women leaders at the Department des Femmes et Familles de l'Église du Christ au Congo, the Church of Christ, which is the largest Protestant and other Christian denomination leadership community in the DRC. Many people may not know that the 90 to 95% of the population in the DRC are Christian, and Christian primarily Catholics, Protestants, and other Christians. And therefore, the churches are take a very strong leadership role in building peace, particularly at the moment with the Pacte Social pour la paix, which is a national dialogue process being led SENCO, which is what we call the Conference of Bishops of the Catholic Church, together with the leadership from Église du Christ au Congo, representing the Protestant Church. So with this joint Catholic, Protestant, and other Christian religious leadership now, they are now taking a strong role in providing a roadmap for national dialogue and peace in the DRC. So we hope that with this training that we were able to do recently with the 30 women leaders from the Department of Women and Family with the ECC, and led by Martha, we are able now to contribute to this continuing process, we hope, of national dialogue and the peace process in Congo.
Well, that's fantastic, Patricia. And I don't know whether Martha's back with us, but if not, could you tell us a little bit more about how the IEP developed its model and what experience you've had in other places?
The model that we have developed has been a result of IEP's very innovative database research. As a research and global think tank, we were the first organization to measure and analyze peace. And it is from this situation that I think that we were able then to explain to people that peace is not just absence of war or conflict, but actually peace is a positive measure of human well-being and development. In other words, it's not enough to understand peace by looking at the broken bits in society, such as conflicts and violence. If we want to understand and particularly to create peace, we have to look at the positive factors in a community, in a country, that build peace. And there are things like a well-functioning government, free flow of information, good relations with neighbors, acceptance of the rights of others. And these positive factors we developed as the positive peace framework. In other words, we have now got a tool that we can show communities how to be able to show to their communities how they can build peace. And this is what we were doing in Congo, as what I have also been doing in other countries, such as in Cambodia with women and youth leaders, and also in South Sudan with the staff of World Vision, who we trained, and many of them are working with women in agricultural projects in South Sudan. Also, I'm working with the youth leaders in Ethiopia, particularly after the recent conflict between Tigray and the federal government. So we have this situation now where we're showing that women, as many of you know, women are actually play a central role as agents of peace. And I was so impressed at the strong and resilient women from Congo, and particularly Martha's Department of Women and Families, where she was able to bring 28 women from for most of the provinces, including from Ituri, from North Kivu, also from Equateur, Kasangani, as well as Kinshasa. And we had these wonderful, well, actually total of 30 women who were able to not only understand IEP's positive peace framework, but also they were able to apply the positive peace tool to have now designed projects and community-led initiatives that they are now are going to be doing with their own communities, having returned back to their communities after the training in Kinshasa. The follow-up.
Yes. Oh, sorry.
Yes.
So I was just going to ask Patricia, before you get to the follow-up, and it's related to the follow-up. Do you find that the women are listened to? Are they empowered by this process? What is the reporting you're getting back from them as to what the difference the training is making for them?
We had wonderful feedback on. I was so impressed, and even in the first day of introducing the positive peace framework, Matthew, the women understood positive peace straight away, which was wonderful, because the training was very collaborative, very participatory and interactive. We did a lot of group work and teamwork building, because all these women had come together for the first time, and they bonded very well, so much so that at the end of the training, many of them had already established now a WhatsApp network, and are continuing to form their own supportive network, which means that they have been able to work together to look at the issues they're having in the community, to be able then now to develop some project proposals, which we hope we will be able to support them with. And we hope also for the participants here, we may be able to get continuing support for the women's projects and community-led initiatives that they've developed. And this has been one of the really great outcomes of this training, that they didn't just understand and learn about positive peace, they now actually have taken this tool to actually develop some community projects and initiatives, which they are now doing. I recently received some feedback that Martha sent me from one, I think the community leader, Vivienne from Goma, who has already started a discussion with her women groups in Goma on the issue of restitution, which is part of what's going on, as you know, in the conflict, to try to be able to recover the things that have been lost and the violence and destruction that has happened in Goma. So she's already started discussing with the women in Goma about how they can deal with the restitution process. So these are some of we've had this feedback immediately. We've also got some very interesting projects that the women have developed and now are presenting to me. And we hope that we can continue to mentor the women and also to facilitate some funding opportunities, as well as strengthen the supportive network, collaborative network that they've developed.
Fantastic. And that is, I'm sure, making a great difference. Now, I'm assuming we haven't got Martha back on the line.
Yes, I think Martha, are you here? Yes,
Is Martha back
here.
on the line?
Martha,
well, Martha,
can you please just, if you can you hear us? So maybe we have some just making sure that they can hear you. Martha, can you speak?
Okay.
Good, great.
Yeah. Okay, Martha, so good to have you back. We want to hear from you a bit more. You were telling us about the situation there, and we've heard a lot now from Patricia about some of the work was done. But can you tell us a little bit more about how you chose the women that you had for the training and how they're taking this forward?
Yes, I think women were selected depending on the way, like, what again? My department is well structured, so we have 26 provinces in DRC, but for the Church of Christ in Congo, we have 12 provinces that we are working with them. We don't follow the political arrangement. So in each province, we have one woman who is leader. So we didn't just select that woman who was leader, but we looked at the work that these women are doing on the ground, how they are trying to mobilize their community, and how their leadership is accepted. So we selected according to those factors to be women who can go back and try to do, like Patricia said, restitution and work with the community as a whole. So women were selected throughout the DRC, North Kivu, Sud Kivu, Ituri, Kisangani, Katanga, and some were added from Kinshasa. So that was what I can say, like our choice was made depending on the leadership of the women and how their involvement in the community and how they were accepted by the church and the whole community. So, like she also said that women went back because when they came here, they had to think about project, but we didn't want to take project immediately because they had to go back and sit with their community, discuss and see what is really important that they can do as a project. And this is what they did. So they've been submitting and we tried to compile all of them. So we are going to now share them and see how we can find funding for them. So our aim is for those women who went back to go and share the same thing that they have learned with their community, try to organize in groups depending on the size of the province and try to train women on positive peace. Because especially like those who are in conflict zone, as they have learned that peace is not just the absence of war, so they can do something with what they have learned to try to achieve positive peace and to try to, in their community in different way. So if I can say in short.
Yes, well, that's fantastic. And a couple of things to ask you, and then perhaps Lucy will be able to assist with bringing questions in from those other participating, because I'm afraid I can't see a chat at this moment. But first of all, do you find, and I know that the churches are leading a national dialogue process, so you're heavily involved in this, but do you find, firstly, that the women are being listened to, and what difference does the training that Patricia provides make for them?
Yeah, women are really playing a big role when it comes to peace and negotiation. They've been on the front line, even though they are not really recognized, but they are doing a great job in their community level, especially, I think, not just in the eastern part, but all over the DRC, because Eastern is just because Goma and Bukavu have been captured, but even here in Kinshasa, for example, people are being killed every day. There is insecurity. There's also women are in the front line in everything. When it comes to economic feeding, they're the breadwinner of their family. They're the one providing for their family. They were the one organizing even in the church. So women are everywhere. But even though they're not really fully recognized officially, but everyone in DRC knows that without women, we cannot succeed in what we are doing. And in the church, even myself, so when it comes to the dialogue, we are involved, but the only thing is that we really need to train many women, especially in leadership, because some of them, they have knowledge, but they are not confident to sit among elite, or when there is big gathering. Most of them, they lack confidence. So that is why sometimes we really try to train them so that they can gain confidence and so that they can participate fully and be recognized in the society. But really, without women in DRC, we could not be in this actual situation. They are the one trying to help so that life can continue to go on and we can continue to hope for a better future.
Yes, so it really helped with building their confidence as well, to push forward. So I think maybe now, Lucy, we should switch over to perhaps some of the points and questions that other people might like to ask both Marta, while we have her, and Patricia. Do you have anything there in the chat?
Here's one of the challenges. No, we're not getting the chat, but perhaps people can try raising their hand in the bar below the Patricia's photo or image. Raise your hand if you have a question.
Lucy, I submitted a question in the
Okay,
chat.
well, here's one question. Did the women who participated in the training talk about some of the challenges that they face in their communities? What are some of the challenges the women have told you, Mart?
Yeah, the challenges, most of them, I think the main challenge is not having that, most of the things that they are doing it in an informal, not really formal or official. And there's women in being in the patriarchal society, sometimes they are not listened, they are not given space to take initiative. And sometimes their initiative in the beginning, they are not really fully supported. And the big problem also, they are struggling they can have initiative, but they don't have a meaning of accomplishing what they are doing. So that is the main challenge. And the political also situation, insecurity doesn't allow them to do whatever they can do to travel or to organize women in groups so that they can share or they can bring really change as they are supposed to do. So that is, I can say, main challenges that women are faced that we try to share with them after the training.
We've had a few more questions from the Royce and Jean Abbey Vocational Scholarship Committee, which is the group that brought Mart to Australia in 2024. They want everyone to know that they are currently seeking applications from various projects. There may be an opportunity for a further trainee from the DRC. Thank you, Royce and Jean Abbey Scholarship Committee. Another question is, saying that, and I don't know who this was, but they said they're very encouraged by the work you and Patricia are doing, and I'm looking forward to supporting and contributing where I can. The person says, I'm particularly curious about the possibilities of engaging the Congolese diaspora, especially young people and women, in conversations and initiatives around positive peace. I feel there is so much lived wisdom, resilience, and untapped leadership within diaspora communities that could meaningfully contribute to peace-building efforts both locally and globally. This person would love to hear Patricia and Mart's thoughts about this.
Yeah, I don't know if Patricia has something to say, but what we are really doing, even as a church, and even the communities try to be engaged or to bring people in diaspora to be involved in this process. Like when we talk about this social pact, I don't know if you heard about it, but I think most of them, the initiative that Catholic and Protestant are working on it, and that is now widely well known, but it's only our president until now, he didn't approve. But now that the president has been trying to seek different organizations, like lately he went to Angola to try to ask the president if they could organize a dialogue. So Angola said they cannot allow him to organize a dialogue if it doesn't work with the Catholic and the Protestant church. So it's like he had been trying, but everyone just wants Catholic and Protestant church with the Social Pact Initiative to be part of the dialogue, to be the one to organize that dialogue that should be inclusive, because he doesn't want it to be inclusive. So in that process also, there is a big part where we want people living in diaspora to be part of that dialogue, because we know that they have a lot to give from their experience of living abroad, even financially, even intellectually or what. So they have a lot to give. And I think if the person who has the question knows some organization, can put us in touch with them so that we can also collaborate, because we are really open in that dialogue and in this positive peace, so that we can together work as a country, as a nation, to try to build peace in different ways in DRC.
Thank you. Here's another question for Mart. What has been the most important realization for you and the women during the course of the peace building initiative that you engaged in with Patricia?
Yeah, I think the big things, achievement is now with our workshop, it was all over the media, and now from the country I've been receiving call, people inviting me, and it brought to talk about it, because they want to learn about the positive peace. And if even last time we're discussing with the president, if I can, because I was the minister for human rights is one of my students at IPC. So we have been even, he heard about it and contacted me. So he wants us to organize something like, how can I say, a round table or something to discuss about, so that they can learn and see if we can also organize maybe next year or before the end of year, something where that can bring women, if not from all over DRC, at least here in Kinshasa. So for me, that is a big impact, and to that workshop, because it was well mediatized, so the department work is known not just from in the church, but outside the church, and receiving all these contacts, I think that is a great achievement for me.
Here's a question
Yes,
for Patricia.
I'd like to, oh, sorry.
Oh, go
I'd
ahead.
like to add that it was an absolutely big surprise that on Easter Sunday that our training was on the national television news in Kinshasa. And many of you might know Kinshasa has a population of 18 million people. That's the population of Sydney and Melbourne and Brisbane and Perth and Adelaide together. So you're talking about very big publicity and promotion for our training. We were so ecstatic to hear that. And congratulations to Marta for all her work in that area.
That's impressive.
There's a question, Martha, about practical things that the women were able to learn from the training and taking and what they took to their communities. The ideas of the community projects that the women were thinking about, and of course they had to discuss it with their communities after the training, but they had ideas ranging from issues to do with women's health, particularly the issue of reproductive and family health, maternal child health issues. We had a concern and interest to do projects around the issue of water, and particularly relating to the environment, degradation. Also, we had a small group of women who were focused on the issue of the children, the minors who have been abandoned and left because of the situation of the conflict. We have many abandoned and unaccompanied orphaned now children, and the need to be able to care for these children, to provide education for these children, as well as obviously being able to give them the basic living needs of food and shelter. And also there was a small group who were particularly focused on the area of education. And this is specifically for raising education. So a lot of very particular issues, which is very good because it was locally driven. And that's the understanding that the women have of their own community. And that's why the women have this ability to be able to take a lead, because they understand the context of their community very well. And we know that Congo has so many different issues because of the diversity of different community groups and languages, that it's really important that we have the women who actually understand their local community very well and the needs of their local community, that they take a lead on this.
Here's a question for Patricia. Did the training in Kinshasa differ from the positive peace training that you've done in other African countries? What was different? What was similar?
What was for me very different, I think, was that the women I felt had a very strong motivation, and I feel they were very passionate and very highly motivated. So I think I would attribute that to Martha's selection of the women, because obviously we could only have a certain number, and the women that she selected were truly really highly motivated and involved. And as I said, it only took the first day of the training, and they got the idea of positive peace in the first day. In some other contexts in some other countries, it's not the concept of IEP's positive peace is not something that people can automatically get on the first day, particularly when we start asking people at the beginning, what is their concept of peace? That's how we start. It's not about us talking about what we think about peace. It's asking each person. And the women leaders understood IEP's positive peace concept immediately on the first day. So they were able to work together and obviously come together and collaborate because they had a much more common understanding. There was wonderful collaboration, and also I felt the women were extremely, how can I say, they worked as a team, and this collaboration was one of the strengths that I saw, particularly here in Kinshasa and the Congolese women. And I think also I can say personally with a lot of flair. I love the singing, love the music. We had a lot of wonderful creative, breaks between our trainings where the women were singing. We were doing a lot of what we call more creative expressions in our communications about how we wanted to do peace. And I think that was one of the reasons why I came back to Sydney with lots of positive energy, feeling that I would love to be able to go back again and to continue to support the women. So it was a very energizing and enthusiastic training, which is not always the case in many of my previous trainings.
Women loves you.
Yeah.
What are the follow-up actions for the peace training, Mart and Patricia?
I think for me, I can say the following action is for them to share what they have learned. That first, to share what they've learned with their community, and try to organize in a way that they can continue to teach and to train people, so that it cannot be just I don't know how to say it, so that it can become a process to be part of their life and part of their work. And also to now use the project, if we, by God's grace, we found some people who can find the organization who can fund those projects, so it will help them to maintain that contact and to work with the community and work also with other provinces, because we don't want each province to work on its own. We want province to work as a team, so that we also bring Protestant women like together, not to be divided, but to work together as a team, and that can, foster peace in the future. So that is our thoughts, if I can say.
Yes, thank you. I'd like to add that, of course, we would like to continue to support. I would like to continue to support with the mentoring and coaching with the women leaders now, with developing their community peace projects, community-led peace projects, and also to help in facilitating some funding opportunities. And this is a big call out now to those of you who are interested to support some of the initiatives and projects that the women will be obviously proposing to us, and through Martha being able to give us also any support you have to be able to assist with some of their projects that they are going to be hoping to be able to implement with their communities. And also we hope to also continue to strengthen this network of women leaders now, because hopefully they will then be able to go back to their communities and also identify and train their own women there within their communities. Some of the women leaders are also young women. We had some young women also as part of this training who participated in our workshop, and they also had some very, very exciting, innovative ideas of what they wanted to do back in their community. So it is keeping this group, a network, also to support this group as a collaborative network, to then be able to also train their communities back in their community. And IEP is also wanting to say that we are looking for support to continue our work with the actual religious leadership group, which is the Catholic Church, the Conference of Bishops, and the Iglesia and the ECC, Iglesia Cristo Congo, at the leadership level, who are working on the contributing to the National Dialogue for Peace. And we're hoping to support the religious leadership, joint leadership group of the Catholics and Protestants with peace, hopefully contributing to establishing a peace institute where we hope we will be able to train not only women leaders, but also men and youth as part of the church communities in Congo. So this is going to be something that IP will hopefully be able to continue to work in terms of working with the religious leadership group who are involved in the National Dialogue for Peace process in Congo. I'd like to just first thank, because I think I'd like to take the opportunity to thank our donors. And I'd like to say a big thank you to Emmeline Foundation, to Rotary, and also to Hand Up Congo, and also individuals such as Lucy and Kevin and Heidi, Bridget, and many of the individuals who have generously supported this project and for women's empowerment and women's peace leadership.
Over to you, Matthew. Are you still there, Matthew?
Oh, yes, Lucy.
Over to you.
Hi, I hope you can hear me. And I did actually manage to see some of you on the screen along the way, coming in as a participant, even though it didn't quite work. But can I say, and that was a wonderful point that Patricia ended on there in terms of those who are supporting this work, and indeed, a vote of thanks goes to the Institute of Economics and Peace, the Church of Christ in Congo, Hands Up Congo, Rotary, and all these donors who have made this possible. And it's wonderful to hear just the way in which women are being empowered, because I think they are going to make a big difference on the longer term in the Congo. And it's also wonderful to see the spirit of unity or Ubuntu, as we say in Africa, that is reflected in Marta's work. And thank you, Marta, for all you have told us. Now, I believe, is this right, Lucy, that you were going to have on the screen everybody? Is this technically going to happen?
No, it's not.
Okay.
I don't know why. We were hoping to have everyone's faces and smiling, but unfortunately, I don't know why it's not working. But
Never mind. And I'm sorry, my face couldn't come up as well, but it's been wonderful to be part of this, and it's wonderful to have had so many people asking questions and so engaged. And it gives me much encouragement for the future of the Congo. So Marta, we really, here in Australia, do want to continue to support your work. Keep us informed about it. Every blessing going forward. Do you want to say one last word, Marta?
Yeah, the best thing I can say is really to thank everyone, starting by Mama Lucy, because I never knew that I could get that opportunity one day being in Australia. And I really thank her. And through that opportunity, I met Patricia and met most of people who have contributed also. And the day we started the discussion, it was like it will not happen, but she kept on pushing, and everyone was trying to push, and it was like a dream that came true. The day I went to welcome Patricia at the airport, myself, I could not believe that she was in DRC. So I thank God and thank everyone, the support of Rotary, Hand Up Congo, and individual who donated so that this workshop can be possible. So I thank all of you, and may God bless you for all you are doing, especially for DRC. And may you continue to support us in any way. So your support is welcome. So thank you for having me. Thank you for the interest in DRC. And really, may God bless everyone.
Well, that's wonderful, Marta. And can I finish by thanking Lucy and Hand Up Congo for all they do to keep the Congo in our minds and what a difference they're making. Thank you, Lucy, and thank you for persisting in the face of the technical challenges. I think this has turned out to be a wonderful webinar.
Well, thank you for saying all of those kind things. This has been recorded, we think. We're really sorry about the tech challenges, everyone. Thank you for your patience. And if the recording has been done successfully, we will be sharing that and our contact information with Patricia, Mart, and Hand Up Congo if you wish to be asking questions. We're here to connect everyone to each other. So thank you all for your time.
Right.
Thank you.
Bye for now.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Yeah.
Thank
Cheers.
you.
Thank
Bye.
you all. Bye.